All right. Good evening, everybody. If you could please just go ahead and mute your mic until you want to go ahead and say something that'll just be helpful for all of us to be able to hear what's going on. Let me see if my visual is a little bit better if I do it this way. It looks like it is. All right. So, man, welcome back. For those of you all who traveled outside of Chicago, I know that for a lot of us, there are some uncertainties, particularly with COVID, and my desire for creating this space and this opportunity tonight, which is not one of our regularly scheduled supervisor meetings that we have, was because I'm getting a lot of emails that are just asking a lot of different questions, most of them centered around COVID, what we're going to do at our school, or I know at least at one of the schools, we still have a group that hasn't even onboarded at all. So I wanted to take opportunity tonight and talk specifically about some of the alternative things that people could do, just so that you can make sure that you're still getting your hours, to make sure that you don't have to go through trying to onboard at an entirely different site. I suspect that there probably are some people, especially maybe some of you all who have had complications onboarding all semester, that maybe you've already requested a different site. Whatever the case may be, just let me know that so I can make sure that I'm doing my best to serve you all well. That's always my desire, to make sure that the schools get value from everything that it is that we're doing. But then as well, I want you all to have a good experience and learn as a part of this as well. So I am going to do this. I'm just going to basically jump into sharing with you all some of the things that people can start doing as early as today to support my social and emotional learning work that's in schools, and just kind of communications, things that have to be done for this work that any of you all could help with. But let's do this. Use the chat if there's something else as it pertains to an agenda item that you are desiring will be covered tonight. I just want to make sure that everybody is having an opportunity to get out of tonight what it was that you came to get. Whatever questions you might have, again, please go to the chat and offer those right now. Let me say exactly what I'm looking for again in the chat. If there was something agenda-wise that you wanted to make sure that we got to beyond you being able to know alternative assignments and things that you can do for this work, you can go ahead and hit the chat and let me know that. Otherwise, again, if you have questions and things of that nature, hit the chat. So I'm going to get into, and I'm recording this for the sake of playback purposes as well. I'm going to get into, and I just wish I knew how to just stop that, because that is going to annoy me. Let me just turn Messenger off momentarily. Here you go. Yeah, sometimes it's a pain to be as popular as I am, because people just keep hitting your Messenger, and I'm totally joking. I think those messages are for my wife. I just happen to be a part of the group. Let me share my screen here. Here we go. All right, so I've already offered up at least two of the things that I'm going to talk to you all about today. But I just wanted to, again, use this space and this opportunity for those of you all who might be a little nervous, a little anxious, as far as just kind of what's going on in your space and or what isn't going on, to say, okay, as of right now, there's some work that you can be putting your hands to and your minds to, primarily so that we can make these hours. And again, you all can get some value out of this experience. So the first thing I will bring to you all's attention is our social and emotional learning mentoring curriculum. And yeah, just, I don't know, maybe take a note or something along those lines of what might pique your interest, because based on what piques your interest, I'm going to have to really start deploying. Let me say it this way. I'm going to have to start attaching, again, different assignments and tasks to you all immediately, because I'm just really deeply desirous to just make sure that we're good on those hours. So first of all, again, social and emotional learning, I think we all should be at a place of at least starting to conceptually understand what SEL is all about. The social piece, first of all, learning. So social emotional learning speaks to something that we are learning, education that we're getting, an educational experience that we are taking part in order to grow in some type of specified way. So that's the learning part. I told y'all I'm just way too popular tonight. I got notifications and calls and things coming in from everywhere. I feel so special.
Before you start again, I just want to pop in
Yeah.
because I thought this was a required meeting, but everything you're saying, like I've been in communication with those around me, so I'm actually going to pop out. Actually, you know what? Never mind. I lied. Ignore me. I'm going to stay and just listen again.
Ray, to be absolutely honest with you all, with you and whoever else might be here who is thinking that this is a required meeting. And I think even on the calendar invite, I put the word optional because I was just trying to make.
You definitely did. You definitely did. We have within our social justice practicum, we have like certain things are optional, and it's like you have to go to a certain amount of them to get. You don't have to go to all of them, but you can go to all of them. And I just grouped. I made the wrong connection, but either way, I'm gonna stay and listen again. So just ignore me. Sorry.
Just don't feel any compulsion that you have to be here or nobody has to be here. Again, I'm doing this because I get I've gotten a lot of emails since you all have come back that says, Damien, I'm concerned about my hours. I'm concerned about where I am. So this particular optional meeting is for me to clarify what are the alternative assignments that people can start working on immediately. And I'm glad Ray jumped in because again, there might be some other people here, and I'm just looking at the participant count to see if it goes down as we're saying this, who might feel like, oh, dang, this ain't a meeting. I don't need an alternative assignment. I'm good with my stuff. If that's the case, jump off. What I will say before you all jump off though, now Saturday, that's a meeting that's been on the calendar just as well as next Thursday for over a month now. And that Saturday meeting, that's the additional supervisor meeting that I put on the calendar as you all were telling me you're not getting your 4 hours from the school. So with this meeting, with the meeting Saturday, with the meeting next Thursday, those are at least 3 hours that I'm offering you all this month. So again, I just want to.
Then I might actually hop off because I do feel like I'm in a good place. I do feel good about the project I'm working on, even though I'm not in the school yet, but I do think I'm going to finally be there soon. I just didn't want to dip and you to feel like what you're saying wasn't important.
No,
but now that you've said that.
Where are you again, Ray?
Theoretically, Donahue.
Oh, okay. Yeah. No, you're going to be good.
Which should now, I think, finally at this point, sorry, I don't mean to take away time from other people.
You're fine.
I think everything's good. You know, it's just a matter of background checks and charter and everything, but and then COVID and whatever. But I think I'm going to be able to actually be in classrooms soon. But in terms of I've been working on actually like what's in front of us now, like the developing curriculums for the 11th and 12th graders, you know, the videos that are lacking from your previous emails about what we could do virtually. And I've been in communication.
You said you have been working on that?
Yeah. And I actually was just writing about mindfulness and trying to develop these art curriculums. I'm working on like art, poetry, drama, all that stuff, because that's what's important to me. And that's
wonderful.
My field.
Where did you house the 11th and 12th grade stuff?
None of it is published yet. None of it is within, because I haven't actually been in a classroom yet. So before I, put my curriculum on the table, I need to get into the classroom first. I gotta see how, I don't actually know the way things are structured at all. It's all just me like writing and creating and pretending I know about Donahue or like this school particularly.
Cool. All right.
So it's all in the archives, but you and I can definitely chat later about details. I don't want to take up more people's time, but just wanted to pop in, show my face, say, hey, didn't want you to think I was just leaving because I was bored or didn't care.
It's all good.
but that's
All
my
right, well,
piece. Thank you, by the way,
nope.
for hosting this, and your efforts are absolutely seen. I see you trying to organize 8 million of us. Um, but thank you, and I'll email you separately.
All right, cool,
All
cool.
right, have a great rest of your night, everyone.
All right, bye-bye. All right, you all. So for those of us, again, who are needing projects, the first one that I'll speak to is centered upon what's here on this sheet, which organizes our social and emotional learning curriculum. Okay, and we utilize this curriculum for the work that we are doing with young people and the work that we're doing with adults. So you all just heard Ray allude to it, and I've sent several emails alluding to this as well. Is that specifically, and I'll make sure I share. Matter of fact, this particular link, I'm just going to share with you all right now, just in case of some people feel like, oh, I haven't seen this, Damien, I don't know what that is. Let me share that with the group, everyone in the meeting. All right. So this particular curriculum is lacking because over the years, similar to what I'm inviting you all to, I've had different people to come in and support me with this work. And even when you go to the more so the high school curriculum, I'm just looking back at September, for instance, when we were focusing on self-awareness and self-management. We look good for 9th and 10th grade. We look good for 11th and 12th grade. Oh, no, we don't. It's particularly those video links. All right, so let me talk about what can be done with those video links. So for any of these video links that are not here, let me tell you all how, I guess easy is the word that comes to mind. This task could be for folks to start making up hours, and it can even be done as a community. If a group of you all wanted to come together and have this as a project to say, we're going to own creating these videos, and that will be our task that we're doing for January and February to make sure we're making our hours. And then maybe at that particular point in time, based on us creating the videos, we can pick up another task. If a group of you all will own creating the videos based on these lessons, that would be so dope. Let me know that. I'll task you all as that group. And, you know, sometimes when I put things like that, some people might say, hey, well, I'm not comfortable creating the videos, but there's something else that I can do as a part of a team. Or some other people might be comfortable in front of the camera. You might have somebody else who says, hey, I'm the person who can do the editing of the videos. When you can see different examples. I have so many YouTube links right here on this sheet, so many different examples of videos that were already created. So you can use those as a template and help us to create any of these high school videos that are missing. We have a lot of these video links that are missing. So theoretically, just that one task, even for a group, could be something that occupies a group for the duration of this program. Secondly, okay, before I go on to number 2, creating the videos for the high school curriculum, I'm just wanting to make sure people are clear on that opportunity and see if you all have questions. And then another thing that just kind of came to mind for me as well. Damien, I don't know SEL. I don't know this. I'm not asking you to know SEL. The gentleman who created a lot of my previous videos, he would literally look at the lesson, really kind of wrap his brain around what it is that we're doing here with the lesson, which doesn't take a lot of wrapping his brain around it, just in case if there are any anecdotals or if they wanted to kind of change this hook to really kind of speak to something that makes sense for them, speak to something that they're passionate about. The questions are right here, some sense of what we're doing for the activation assignment. It's all there. We just need these help with getting these videos created. Let me pause to just see if there are any comments or questions based on that first task that you all might have. Video creation for 9th through 12th grade, 9th and 10th, 11th and 12th grade for our social and emotional learning curriculum.
I have one question.
Please.
So I know right now, some schools might be, my school right now is in person, but I don't know if that's gonna
Your
change.
school is in what?
In person.
Perfect.
So my school's in person right now. I don't know if or when that's gonna change. So say if the school does go virtual, would we work with that school to get a virtual assignment, or would we kind of default virtually to these assignments to get hours?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I'm going to address that because actually, what you're asking me right now is a very important question. Oh, we switched the camera here. Let me switch it back. My apologies. Make sure the microphone. All right, what you're asking me right now is a very important question. No, you do not. The priority is always what's going on in that school. And even if those schools go virtual, yes, for whoever asked that question, because I was just making sure I was capturing some notes, so I didn't catch exactly who asked. But the priority is always striving to work with the schools, many of you schools that you've now been building some rapport with, and see what are some ways that you can pivot and still work with the school. As you all are just kind of taking down notes and processing through what next steps could look like for you if you're already remote and or if you all are going remote. Let me also say this. I've also been reaching out to administrators and making it very clear on my end that I've already experienced having interns who continue to support their classrooms during remote learning. So the administrators are clear that the same way that teachers give out links to the students, they can give you all access to that same link, even breakout room links, so that you all can continue whatever work it is that you're doing now in person, virtually, even if we go into some type of remote learning process. What I'm doing right now is just to say, for whatever reason, some people are feeling like, man, I got to make up some hours. Some people are saying it just feels like it's not going to happen for me to get placed in my school. Things along those lines. But again, I just really need you all to hear me to say the priority is striving to work with your school to figure out how to pivot with them and continue to get your hours done. That makes sense? Is that helpful for whoever asked? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you.
All right, no problem, no problem. All right, so, were there any questions about supporting the creation of the videos, the high school videos, 9 and 10th grade, 11 and 12th grade? I've already shared the link again, especially if we had a team approach. That task itself is a task that literally could pursue for the rest of our time together through April-ish.
Well, I guess I guess I would have a question is like, what kind of roles would be available to in doing that? Like, I don't know if I have any of the skills necessary to be part of that. So, what would be needed for production of these videos?
Yeah, no, thank you for that question. So we need somebody who's willing to be, so let me just do this. Let's go to one of these links and let's see an example. I hope Rob Samp comes up, not me.
Goal setting, what a great buzzword. It's a skill that we often talk about but are really good at. We laud this as something that.
All right, so first of all, I'm glad that Rob Samp came up and not me, because this is literally an Adler student who did what I'm asking of you all in the past, particularly with goal setting. Let's see which one I clicked this one. He has some type of intro that he was reading from, but it doesn't sound like he's reading from it. He kind of internalized the intro himself first. And then from that internalization of what we're doing to intro the video, he then went into the introduction that you all hear him speaking to right now. I'm trying to look and see, so what he also did was he did the editing of the video. So that included any mistakes, any slip ups that he made as he was talking through the intro or any parts of this video. He would have to do that editing to cut those pieces out. but I like how he even figured out a way to have different graphics popping up in the video at different times during the video. What I just said were a couple of things already. We have somebody who can be in charge of editing the videos. We have somebody who hopefully will be willing to be in front of the camera and actually record the videos, even creating any graphics that might pop into the video. That could be a part of the editing, but that could be a totally different person as well. Was that helpful?
And there's kind of already scripts kind of already existing, correct?
Yeah, this lesson is the script. And what I was also trying to say to the group, again, these links, Patricia, were you placed at McNair?
No, I'm at Doolittle, which is closed right now. So
Doolittle is closed, but Doolittle is actually the school that was able to do remote learning with 5 interns last year. So if any school knows how to do remote learning with Adler interns, it's Doolittle, and I know that for sure. So I'll just say that. But I think what you're actually saying as well is they're not even doing remote learning. They're just flat out closed right now because they're going through this thing with CTU. I suspect that as of Monday, they'll be beyond that, and it'll either be remote or back in person. So I'm thinking specifically at Doolittle Elementary School, you'll be okay there. But again, if for whatever reason you're feeling like it's the time to lean into one of these alternative assignments, what I've just shared as far as the video creations is one example. Let me go to the second example of an activity. Jump in there, you all, at any particular time if you need to just ask me any questions. And for the second one, I'll actually go to the online course. Okay, one of our school partners, namely McNair Elementary School, has brought it to my attention that one of the struggles they have with our curriculum, particularly with the primary grades, so pre-K through second, is it's like, we need some more visuals. Our kids need more videos and they need more pictures that are bringing the SEL work to life. So, no, excuse me, just for the primary grades. And let me just remind you all that what I'm showing you here on the online course is the same thing that's all written out here on this spreadsheet that has our monthly themes and our skills for social and emotional learning. But the reason I went here to the course is because for the primary grades, again, pre-K through second, what we're going to need to start doing is every month, and I did this for the first time with January, excuse me, sorry. I did this for the first time. Let me just go do something here. So every month, our primary grade courses are going to need supplements to the written lesson that provide visuals and that provide like alternative videos that are in alignment with whatever our topic is for that week. And I can show you all examples. So for the month of January, this is the first time I started this because this is a conversation that I've just recently started with this school that I think still can be helpful for other schools as well. We have what you all are used to seeing, which is that SEL lesson for this group for this week. But in addition to that lesson, if you would scroll down, I actually have a template for additional resources that we're going to need to be providing for every pre-K through second lesson. I only did this for the month of January. I'm going to need this definitely for the duration of the school year. And if I have an individual or a team that's helping me with this task, you can actually go back September through December and do this as well. So here's exactly what I'm doing thus far. Is I'm looking at whatever our topic is, sharing and supporting is the topic for this particular week. And then I'm looking at, the grade specificity. This is for pre-K and kindergarten. What's a video on sharing and supporting that they can watch, and that could kind of be an introduction to this topic for pre-K and kindergarten students. For first and second grader, what might be a video that can be an introduction to the topic for them? Let me say this isn't like a right or wrong type of thing. It's something whereby, okay, I know what the topic is. I know where we're trying to go with this lesson. Let me try to find something for young kids that can get them engaged beyond us just talking to them in the form of a video first. And then in addition to that, let me just go and try to find some visuals. So what I did, at least for the month of January, is I went on Shutterstock, and like, for instance, if we're talking about sharing, for instance, you see it here, I typed in kids sharing, and I just gave a link to so many different visuals that our teachers can pop up, they can choose from and utilize to start engaging their pre-K through second grade students on the topic of sharing. So just to be clear, for the second opportunity that people have, utilizing our social and emotional learning curriculum for pre-K, and here it reads kindergarten, but I started using this for pre-K as well. Pre-K through 2, especially February, March, April, May, June, for the rest of the year, I need videos, and I need, and this is stuff from YouTube, stuff online, videos and visuals that teachers can use to introduce whatever the topic is for that month. And again, for everything that I'm asking you all to do, I have examples of it already. Wait, it must be here. Okay, yep, there we go. I have examples of everything that I'm asking you all to do already. So if you wanted it, if you are going to take on this task, and I'll write all of this up and send it in an email to you all as well. If you want to take on this specific task, all you have to do is look at any of the pre-K through 2 videos for the month of January, and you'll be able to see exactly how I found a couple of YouTube videos and how I use Shutterstock to have videos and some visuals that correspond with the topic to support our pre-K through 2 partners. Questions or comments? All right. So the third one that I'll speak to briefly here for folks who at any particular point in time might be looking for an alternative topic or assignment is that as an organization, namely Together Chicago, we want to start working on some blogs that are dealing with different topics in the realm of social and emotional learning. And I think I already sent this out to you all, but I'll just kind of see where I have it and put it in my follow-up email to the group here. But we have just some different topics, parenting, social and emotional learning in general, and some other topics. And as an alternative assignment, the third thing that you can do is actually start doing some research on these topics and helping us to pen some blogs. And the way that I'm thinking about these blogs, first and foremost, is let's excavate and find what's already out there, right? And primarily, we're just going to be sharing links for things that are already out there. But what I would like, just so that we can have our own type of ownership of what we're posting in our blog space, is maybe just at least one paragraph of a summary that kind of aligns what it is that we're striving to do in Chicago with what it is that's being shared in this resource that we're going to link in our blog post. And then we'll have the link there to direct people to just kind of learn of this resource more. Again, in my mind anyway, I think that all of these are super easy onboarding opportunities for people at any particular time who are saying, Damien, I need an alternative opportunity to make up my hours. I'm not trying to deal with having to go to another site. I feel, a lot of trepidation with having to go in person and deal with COVID, whatever the case may be. I think, you tell me if I'm wrong, that I've offered 3 solid opportunities whereby people can be onboarded immediately to help with some of the things that we need to do with Together Chicago. This Saturday, you all, we are going to get into more of the supervisor specific particulars, whereby we'll be talking about things like, whereby I just want to hear a little bit more specifically what's going on in you all sites. How do I need to help you all pivot? You know, those type of things. I'm willing to get into some of that tonight. I'm just trying to give you all a preview that we're going to get into some of that Saturday as well. And also to give a preview of what's coming up for this month. When you all show up next Thursday, that's when I'm going to take an opportunity to go back into the social and emotional learning online course and just make sure that people are really cognizant of that resource that's there, and continue to hear what it is that you all are doing in schools and how is it that you all need my support, so that you don't feel like you're on an island, so that you feel like, you know, you're well served in your space and you're getting value out of your experience. And with that, I will pause for any comments or questions that people might have.
I just had a quick question about, would we be able to utilize one of these projects as a potential deliverable?
Well, that's a great question. And when y'all ask me about this, your projects, typically I'll be like, you know, I'm the wrong person to ask about the project. But I don't, and just because historically, what I've attempted to tell interns is that your project is your work, right? You all are already uniquely serving the school in a way that by now, a lot of you all have figured the school needs this particular resource, or the school could use something that I feel like I can give them that's tied to what I'm already doing. So I've really pushed Adler interns to not feel like you have to overthink what the project is, make it align with what you're already doing. And for 3 years straight, that has worked. However, I don't know, maybe there does in the future need to be a little bit more guidance from me, because this question just consistently comes up. So I'm really going to work to get in front of this for next year's group. But what I'll say for this year is I love that suggestion. And I think it makes a lot of sense. That if there's a way you all can work with me on any of those projects, I'm telling you all, what you're going to be doing with me is a direct reflection of what our schools are saying they need. So if you have to just kind of make a point that what I'm doing is directly serving the needs that are in my school, or you could say the needs that Together Chicago has, absolutely, you'll be doing that by doing any of these projects that I just put before you all. So I believe personally that I can give a very definitive, affirmative reply that yes, you'll be good there. But yet and still, I'm just not the person who approves you all's projects. I would say whoever that person is that you will have to run these things by, just make sure that they're good with it. I'm telling you all, my experience in the past has been, I've never, when I say, hey, go with what you're already doing, present that as your project, I've never had anybody to come back to me and say, Damien, they said this won't work. I think you all will be good. So just let me know how I can help. Be very specific with me as far as what you need from me, and we'll get it done. And I say that to the group. Now, next steps, interrupt me if you all have other questions or comments. Next steps as it pertains to these projects, okay? By tomorrow, I don't know if I'm gonna get to this tonight, but by tomorrow, end of day, I am going to, and hopefully I'll have this video recording attached to it as well. I'm going to send you all out an email. What is the email going to have? It's going to have the 3 things that we talked about today. What else is it going to have? It's going to have links that direct you to exactly where you need to go if you're saying that these are projects that I want to work on. What else is it going to have? For number 3, it's going to start giving you some direction as far as what are some of those blog topics that we are desiring. And as soon as possible, I would say, if you're somebody who needs to do these alternative assignments, let's get you tethered and connected to the assignment ASAP. so we could just make sure we're good on hours. One other thing I have to admit, and I'll make sure I say this again Saturday and next week, is that I got an esoteric email from Atler saying we need to meet. I don't know what that's about, but maybe they might say for everybody who's not placed with you, Damien, we're going to snatch them and put them somewhere else. Maybe some of you all have had conversations with them that I'm not privy to, and you know things that I don't even know. So I don't know what that meeting is about, and that might change some things up, especially for those of you all who are having issues with placement. But I definitely wanted to call that out because that potentially could be something that shakes up everything that I'm saying right now, but I don't know enough to tell you. I don't know what I don't know quite yet concerning that mystery meeting with Adler leadership that I'm going to have. Be reminded every time you all show up here, we allocated an hour to be together, even if we don't take that hour. So just make sure that you all are tracking these as your supervision hours, as well as just hours that you're spending with your practicum. Just make sure that we're keeping up with all of that. Comments or questions? Two times in one day. What's up, Max?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Going.
Hey, go ahead. Somebody was about to say something.
I guess I'll go. More of a comment. Today I emailed my teacher about potential ideas for this deliverable. And unfortunately, and this has been proven by some of my colleagues, that they are just like the emails, they can't get into their emails, the teachers. So apparently, I don't know how to get in touch with her about potentially carrying through a deliverable in time for its due date. I don't know.
Yeah, one second. I'm going to speak to that. One moment. It causes me excruciating pain when I think of what's going on in our district right now. At the end of the day, the people who are harmed most are these kids. Just with all of the uncertainty, it seems like a leadership void that we have as it pertains to just handling COVID within our district. It's crazy. And yes, the teachers are locked out of their emails. So you all are coming back to school and, you're getting communication from your school saying we're going remote and trying to reach out to your people to see what's going on and this on the CPS end of things. And you can't get to people. I can only imagine. And I only imagine how frustrated you all will be as it pertains to that scenario. And I just share with you all that it's highly frustrating to me as well, because again, at the end of all of this, the people who suffer the most are the kids and the families attached to these situations. Now, with a high level of certainty, Max was on the call as well today, was told that based on teachers needing to be paid and all of this type of stuff, this I don't know what to call it, this issue that is being currently faced whereby the Chicago Teachers Union and CPS can't make school happen, should be resolved after. Hey, Max, did they say by this Monday, or did she say after King holiday, which would be the 17th?
Yeah, after King's holiday.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So they said that this potentially might go on for another week, but definitely has to be resolved by, I think, the 17th or the 18th. So amidst said uncertainty, if I were in you all's shoes and you still don't have clarity surrounding what your project is, and you're not in a charter school, you're in a CPS proper school, I absolutely will be thinking about, how do I lean into one of Damien's things that he just presented and just have that to be my project? and say, I'm going to allocate my 50 hours to that. And that's going to be my project. That just seems to me like it makes the most sense, because otherwise I don't know what to tell you all. You can't get to the teachers. And I don't know when you all will be able to get to the teachers. And ultimately, when you get back, let me just say this. Ultimately, when you all get back to your schools and connected to your supervisors, they don't even really know, and I would even venture to say care really about these projects. That's an Adler thing. So they won't feel like they missed out because you're not doing your project at the school. If you're still showing up, doing whatever it is that you're tasked to do at that school and serving your hours, they'll be good there, right? So let me just clarify that, and alleviate you all of any pressure that might come with, oh man, but if I do this with Damien and I fulfill my hours here, will they feel slighted? I don't think so. And then always, once communication opens back up with the schools and you all feel like you need to pivot again, stop doing my projects and get back with what's going on your sites. I'm here to serve. I'm here to support. I always want to prioritize us serving the schools as number one, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm over talking that right now. So, Alex, did you have something to say or ask? Anybody else, comments or questions?
There's a question in the chat from Victoria
Oh.
about examples of past projects.
Thank you for that, because I did ask you all to hit the chat earlier with some other. Thank you. So you all heard Ray come in here and talk about like how she's passionate about art. Anybody who is in an art therapy program at Adler, what I've seen in the past where some people blend in art therapy with my existing social emotional learning curriculum. And one of their projects was to engage kids. And we can't say that you're doing therapeutic intervention, but in social emotional learning practices and incorporating art. And actually, if you all will look at our lessons, and I'll bring this back up. Each of our lessons has what you call an activation activity at the bottom of the lesson as a part of each of the lessons. And what I've said before in this space, and I'll say it again, is any of this is malleable. If you feel like, oh, like, and for whatever reason, what always comes to mind is our art therapy students, that you have a different way that you can take social and emotional learning beyond just talking about it and, you know, bringing it to fruition or practicing it in like tangible, practical ways based on some of your own personal interests. That could be definitely your project. I know some of the people who are in different Adler programs have an emphasis on sports. I want you all to think about what you're passionate about. I know before we've even talked about just personal ideologies or, you know, personal sexual orientation or whatever it may be. And you might want to orient your project around educating the young people on something that you feel like they need to be educated on because you've been in that environment and you think that that can be helpful. Guess what? You helping them to broaden their perspective, you helping them to be exposed about something that you value or you're interested in, that's going to align with your passion. And I don't think that that is going to require you to have to feel like you have to create something that's far outside of the confines of what you're required to do with this program. That isn't giving you all specific, explicit examples, but that's me telling you all again, guidance and direction that I've given in the past. Okay, maybe your question is, Damien, why aren't you giving us explicit examples? Because I haven't been a part of that process. Interns in the past have not shown me what their projects are. We don't even really spend much time talking about it. I give them the clarity, I give them the direction that I've given you all, and they've been able to run with it to date. So for those of you all, so like for instance, I was on a call this morning with Max, Zach, and a principal. And this principal said, hey, we're going to give you all 30 to 45-minute blocks to push into multiple classes. And you all are going to be doing social emotional learning lesson. You're going to be supporting the whole group. You might be doing some small group breakouts, and you might even be doing some individualized, hear this, you might even be doing some individualized mentorship, because we know we have some kids who can benefit from that. That's what the teacher told them she's wanting them to do, based on her understanding of how they can show up to serve that environment. To me, in my mind, that's their project. They got to write that up, say, this is what I'm doing in my environment. This is how I'm helping. It meets a very specific need that's in my environment. And I'm not asking Max, if it were up to me, Max or Zach, to do anything outside of that. That's why early in this project as well, one of the links that I asked you all to fill out was, if Damien were ever to come to your school, I need you to fill out this spreadsheet that tells me exactly where you are in that school building and what you're doing. If you know where you are and what you're doing, in my mind, that's your project. But maybe you all keep asking this question because maybe somebody told you that's not enough. I don't know. Help me to help you all. What am I missing? Like, what more are you all looking for me? And I don't ask this out of frustration. I'm just really wanting to get to the center of what you all are needing from this project. Another thing that would be helpful, if somebody could just commit to just sending me whatever write-up you all have on the project, I'm committed. I'll read through that thing, and I almost guarantee you all, even after I read through it, my answer is going to be very much in line with what I'm saying here.
I think kind of the confusion and uncertainty on our part is because there's so many students and so many different sites at Adler, we get really, really generic information about what our mission is, what this project's meant to be, what a deliverable even is. Like, we can't even really get a clear answer on that kind of stuff. So, and because like in our schools, like my teacher does not care, like the people in my school do not care what I'm there for. They don't even know what I'm there for. Like, so I'm not getting any direction from them, which is fine because they've got bigger problems. But I think that's, you know, as this deadline approaches, where many of us are like, what is this supposed to be? So we're just kind of looking for more direct. I think we're just reaching out to anybody that we think might have some insight for us. Because it is, you know, we got people that are in like yoga studios doing their SJP, you know, like, so they're not dealing with the same stuff we are in a classroom of fourth graders, you know. So I think it's so varied that the info is just super generic.
That was very helpful. Patricia, let me ask you specifically, and in asking you this specifically, I'm kind of trying to take a gauge for the group here. And us talking through that a little bit more here tonight, at least for you, was that helpful for you to start to get some epiphanies or illumination as far as just maybe like what you can do if you did come to this space with some confusion?
I'm trying to think a little bit more outside the box and work with my skill. Like, you know, I was a graphic artist for like 25 years.
Okay.
So, but I don't do like video blogs and that kind of stuff, but like I can make forms and make background graphics and, you know, make pamphlets for Together Chicago or for Doolittle. Or so I'm trying to think if there's ways I can clean up some of the things that the kids are using in the class. So like, you know, do something to use my skills that way. And then just continue to kind of do my support in the classroom, because I think that's actually helpful. So I'm kind of trying to think on maybe that vein now. So that was helpful. Whether or not they need any of that, I don't know. But
so when you say you're supporting the classroom, what are you doing? Some tutoring support?
yeah, kind of like a TA, and then just and also kind of dealing, like if the kids are very reactive to each other, so kind of, you know, if somebody's having a problem, we kind of pull them to the back and I kind of talk them
And
through
redirecting
it.
them.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you know, so because they're so reactive to each other. So if one kid's having a problem, like all 15 are going to suddenly start having a problem. So we kind of try to break that cycle, and so I think that's been helpful to keep kind of, redirect them, get them to think about what they're doing, stop the impending chaos of fourth graders screaming and running around the room. So I think that's helpful and good for the kids and for the teachers, but there's not really a deliverable there to work with.
Well, no, I beg to differ. That sounds, again, y'all send me whatever it is that they put in front of y'all, but that does sound like a deliverable for me. Like, let's even talk about what the theme is for this month. The theme for this month is conflict resolution. Patricia, if your presence in that class is helping these kids to de-escalate in a way that heightens the opportunity for academic success, because this teacher has another adult figure in this classroom that helps these kids to be redirected from whatever chaotic situation that they might be in, or you even proactively over time can kind of learn some of the triggers, help them to understand some of those triggers. Cute dog, by the way, Maya. All right, help them to understand some of those triggers and be able to, get in there and give them skills and strategies so that this thing becomes better. That's the project. Like, you're creating value in that space. So I'm glad you spoke to that, because in my mind, I don't feel like you have to be thinking of, okay, I got to create some additional pamphlets. To me, I don't know, for lack of a better phrase, and I was like, that just sounds like you're just doing something just to do it. But like, something that's gonna make impact is what you just said. Like, I'm going in there and I'm an interventionist and I'm helping with de-escalation. I'm helping with conflict resolution. I'm like, mock that up, put that on a piece of paper, submit that to your school. That's your project.
I think, just to tag on to Patricia's statement, I'm doing basically the same thing, but I think that where the confusion came was that it's framed as like a project that you should be doing on a separate time period. Like, a separate 50 hours of work is supposed to be allotted to this, whatever it is, and it's kind of made to seem like it's different work than what you're doing every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was helpful.
I think that's our impression of it, though. I think the 50 hours is in the conceiving and writing it up, and like, we have to make like a poster presentation for the symposium at the end of the year and stuff. I think that counts as like our 50 hours, basically. That's my impression of it, because I've asked about these 50 hours many times and gotten from what's her name, Antoinette, and gotten some weird answers. But I think it's just, we get 50 hours if we end up with something to present at the end, basically.
Yep. And my thinking with that is, again, like, let's not overthink it. Even if for a season, your 50 hours for a season, your intervention with the school is you working on your project, but you're not physically doing anything different. But right now, this is my project space. That's your 50 hours. So I don't know. I just, in my mind, do what you all are doing. And by the way, the good thing I think about the project is it is forcing all of us to get super clear about the value that we have the ability to offer in these environments. And once you get that thing written up, and once we put it out there that this is the thing that I'm focusing on right now, but theoretically, or basically for the rest of this school year, it's just helping all of us to know, like, this is exactly what I'm in this school to do, what I'm offering, how I'm creating value. So yeah, what I just said for Patricia, I don't want to say anything else to mess it up. I think that's it. Max, what we talked about earlier, you all doing the thing in the different classes, write that up. In my mind, that's your project. I see some head nods. It seems like, this is helpful for us to talk this through. Y'all, we are right at 6:57, and y'all know how I try to be, at least with time, just to honor people's time. I know I said we're going to allocate an hour, so we're right towards the end here. What are the burning comments or questions might you all have? Hit the chat to let me know if this kind of me talking through, I know I didn't give examples of a project that you all were asking for, but us kind of talking through the project a little bit, is that giving some comfort? Is it being helpful? If not, don't even type that. Oh, also hit the chat if you can be that person, because I don't need a bunch of these. I just need one person to send me a write-up on you all's project. And then what I can do, matter of fact, whenever I talk to Francine or whoever's going to meet with me, I can ask them for this as well. I really want to help you all. I really want to help you. So somebody give me that. Can I just need one person to say, yeah, Damien, I'll send it to you, or you can unmute your mic. Can somebody please email me whatever written material you all have for this project? Why don't nobody want to send me the project?
I'm doing it right now. Sorry, I wouldn't unmute. Sorry. Yeah, I'm doing it right now, actually.
All right. I'm like, what is going on with this project that y'all trying to keep it closed, like, and secret? All right, y'all, we are right at time. I'm just grateful for all of you all, the work that we're doing together. Be on the lookout for a summation, a clarifying email that speaks to more succinctly what we talked about here. You all have an opportunity for supervision hour Saturday. If you can't show up Saturday, of course, the playback is going to be available. You all also have an opportunity for some coaching and some supervision that's going to take place next Thursday at 6 o'clock as well. Thank you all for your time. Email me if you need anything, text me as well. Bye-bye.